They've won Tonys and Oscars and Emmys and Grammys. There's no red carpet 'cause they're home in their jammies. From Melrose Place to Broadway to Janeway and her crew. Let Seth and James bring all the stars to you.
Anywho.
They're entertaining everyone, so who's gonna grouse? Just sit right back and you'll hear some tales on Stars in the
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Stars in the House Encore Broadway Week.
Ex-wives.
That's right.
My favorite riff.
I was just saying to Seth, I said it because it's been a while since this was on. That I said, Seth, don't forget that Toby and Lucy were on. And you were
I literally was like, no, you didn't say that. He said, don't forget Toby and Lucy. And I said, oh, to mention that they wrote it. He said, no, they were on. I was like, they were on?
And they were surprised by...
Now I remember, we had a surprise guest because they're obsessed with Keala.
Yeah.
Right? It was Keala,
That's
right?
exactly right. And when did you find out that they were obsessed with Keala? Was that in London?
I went to London and they told me...
They came to our room.
I knew they'd written 6 and became obsessed with that show. So then they came to the room so I could interview them for the radio. And they're like, we're obsessed with you. We watch you obsessed with Keala. And then I texted Keala and I said, I'm with these people that wrote a show. And they're like, we're dying. Like, they couldn't believe I even texted her. And then we surprised. And they died in a very British way. It was a lot of like proper British.
And do you remember why Chris Jackson was a surprise guest? I don't remember.
Chris Jackson was on the 6 show?
Yes.
That's when everyone was so isolated.
Talk about we don't have a memory.
Everyone was so isolated that we really wanted to bring on surprise guests to kind of cheer people up.
We followed Jon LaPook's advice on that one, and that's what we did. But we had all 6 ex-wives, and so we have an encore of that. But before
there's a lot of singing, by the way.
A lot of singing.
Oh, let's help you with the idea about donating that we'll read it tomorrow. The new idea, right?
Yeah, beginning tomorrow, we're going to have... basically, I think each night we're going to have a guest from the show talk to us live. Yeah, Mandy just barked. And so tomorrow we have Elizabeth Stanley when we have our Jagged Little Pill encore. On Saturday, Stephanie J. Block is going to be here at the top of the hour for the Share Show. But what we're going to do is if you donate before 8 p.m. Eastern, we will make sure that Elizabeth reads some donations at the top of the show. Stephanie will next week, and then on Saturday. And then on Tuesday, we're going to have our TV reunion week, and Jill Whelan's going to be here for the Love Boat on Tuesday. Chandra Wilson is going to be here next Saturday, all live. So if you want to donate for a particular show and have that star, what's that?
Check the schedule.
Yeah, check the schedule, and we will ask them to read your donations.
And if you want to do it in advance, you can even do Chandra now. You can write for Chandra. And then
That's true. That's right. We'll save it. But you can send it to starsinthehouse.com or text FUN 2020 to 56512. Forward that receipt and that message to that star if you want to donations at starsinthehouse.com. So we have Dr. LaPook here, and we also have a special guest who is not in 6.
Not in 6, but he probably could be in it. He's a super talent. Hopefully, you've seen his Bathtub Brilliance on Facebook. Oh my God, he's so crazy talented.
So who's going to be here?
His name is Todd Buonopane.
Yes, Todd is going to be here. But we're going to bring on Dr. LaPook first to chat with him because, my gosh, there is a lot to talk about before we show the encore. So, Seth?
It's all good news? All right, here we go. Dr. Jon LaPook.
It is what it is.
Okay.
Dr. Jon LaPook.
What's your definition of good news?
Not this. All right, go.
No news, I guess, is good news. Yeah, I mean, today President Biden gave a speech from about 30 minutes in the afternoon, I think it was like 4:20 to 4:50. And he basically said, I thought it was an excellent speech. He talked about how Delta is rampant and how people have to go get vaccinated. And he spelled it out, and he talked about some of the new guidelines that are going to, go into effect for the federal government. And then I came on afterwards. It was Nancy Cordes and Major Garrett, and then I went on and I spoke with Nora O'Donnell, and she asked me about people who are unvaccinated. On the one hand, that they, of course, we now know that. We've always known that unvaccinated people can spread it to other unvaccinated people. We're finding out now, of course, hold on, put that on silent.
Fauci?
We now know that people who are vaccinated back in May, the beginning of May, when the CDC changed this guidance about masks and relaxed it, The reason why they did that was because there was evidence that even though there were breakthrough infections, we knew there were going to be breakthrough infections. Even if it's 95% effective, you got 160 million people, that's 8 million people at risk, right? But it looked like back then the risk of a person who was vaccinated getting infected and then spreading it to somebody else was low. We thought the amount of virus in the nose wasn't really high enough to make that a big problem. Not that it couldn't happen, but it probably wasn't going to be that frequent. Now there's new data. Now, instead of being 1% of the virus, which it was back in May, Delta is 83% of the viruses that are isolated. And it's 1,000 times more virus in the nose. And now we're finding out, and I found out, this is actually news I'm reporting. We didn't have time to do it on the special, that tomorrow, it's embargoed right now. The CDC is going to release the data that supports the fact from their contact tracing that they've done on people who have had breakthrough infections, like up in Provincetown and elsewhere, that even though they're vaccinated, they get infected. That's going to show that people who are vaccinated, who get infected, in fact, can spread it to other people. And in fact, the amount of virus in the nose may be just about the same. So the good news is that people who are vaccinated still very, very low risk of serious illness, not nothing, but low risk. Dr. Walensky, Rochelle Walensky, the head of the CDC, told me today, the latest stats still show it's greater than 90% for the vaccines in terms of preventing against hospitalization and death. But we now know that this virus is getting more and more vicious. And this explanation about variants of concern, hopefully David Katz, the fabulous David Katz, was able to rip it from the tweet. So we'll go back to
play it.
Go ahead.
Okay.
You know the science so well and speak to all of the officials. I keep thinking about, too, those 100 million Americans who are unvaccinated, that they are putting other people's lives at risk. Explain the science, because as one public health official told me today, those unvaccinated Americans, they can become vessels for that virus to create more dangerous variants, and will take us longer to get out of this pandemic.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, somebody who's unvaccinated, you've heard them saying, well, I'm rolling the dice for myself. I get infected, I get infected. No, you're rolling the dice for yourself and for all the rest of us. And the reason is that when you get infected, you become a human petri dish. And billions of times this virus is replicating. And each time it replicates, it has a tiny chance, maybe 1 in a billion, of turning into one of these more vicious variants. Well, billions of replications, 1 in a billion chance, it can happen. When it happens, somebody can spread that, even if they have absolutely no symptoms, to the rest of us, to people who are unvaccinated, to people who are vulnerable, and especially to people who are under the age of 12. And, you know, when you look at this new CDC advice, which is based on changing data, that is exactly what the CDC should be doing. When the data changes, you change the advice. You don't double down on it and say, well, I'm embarrassed by the fact that the data changed. Nope. You give new advice based on the new data. It's exactly what public health agencies should be doing.
Right, not necessarily a backtracking or a changing. As the science evolves, so does the public health guidance, in your words, so we can defeat this virus.
Well said by both of you.
Well said. And shocking that people in government are like, what is it? Masks or vaccine? I'm like, you're supposed to be elected smart officials. Why do you not understand that things evolve? It's bizarre to me.
Well, yeah, we can't say that enough. As the data changes, you change your advice. Remember the whole controversy about that at the very beginning, like literally in February of 2020, the CDC, Dr. Fauci were saying don't wear masks.
Yeah.
And then they changed their advice. Why? Because it turned out that you could spread it when have no symptoms. And it turned out that masks were more effective than we thought. And then, of course, it turned out that as we started getting more PPE for the health professionals, there was enough for them. There were enough masks for them. The advice changed. And I think we should expect that the advice could change again. They told us all along, Dr. Walensky, who I think, is doing a terrific job of communicating the science here. She has said at the beginning in May, if things change, then the advice can change. And, she made a distinction. She said, if you're in an area which has a lot of infection in your area, it's either orange or red. If you go to the CDC COVID data tracker, you can find out your area. Then that's an area where there's especially an issue and where you should certainly wear the mask indoors. But if you are in a green area or you're in a yellow area, I want to make this other nuance. If you're around somebody who is vulnerable, I was just who was I with 2 days ago for his 99th birthday? My father.
Normally,
there is zero chance. I have zero tolerance for risk with him. And in fact, we canceled tonight a dinner that was supposed to be back in New York City. That was supposed to be outdoors with some people in a restaurant. I didn't feel comfortable. I'm not saying this is for everybody.
Right.
For me and my 99-year-old precious father-in-law, I didn't want any chance, any variable of somehow the waiter, had it and his mask wasn't good, whatever it was. That's not for everybody. And there's certainly areas where there's very little COVID and the risk, especially outdoors, is very, very little. But you got to be everybody's got to get used to looking at these maps and seeing what the weather is in their territory.
I just wear a mask. Don't look at a map. Just wear a mask.
Well, before we bring on
answer.
Before we bring on Todd, the one thing I'll say regarding the CDC, recommendations regarding the orange or red zone is, with the Provincetown cluster that happened, I look back at what the cases were July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and it was like 0 or 1 or 2. So we know that was as green as it can be, and yet look what was happening at the time.
That's a great point, James, because the data that you see on the website may be a little bit from a few days or even weeks ago, depending on how quickly those results get up online. We know that this virus is changing quickly. I'm super cautious, so I'm with you. For me right now, I'm not taking any risks, and we'll see what happens.
Right, and look, Seth and I went to a show together. I went to his show with Sierra Bogus. I wore a mask. I still was able to enjoy both shows wearing a mask. I still had a great time with Seth
we ate
there.
In restaurants outdoors.
We ate at restaurants outdoors. There's plenty of options.
I did boot camp. It's like I'm able to do it, but the point is just take precautions. And we went to Austin. Anyway, look, we want to bring on our really close friend I've known him for so many years. He's so talented. But right now I'm fascinated with him because he's double vaxxed and he had a breakthrough case. And I feel there's a lot of mystery. It's like, I heard someone was vaccinated and got a case. We want to actually bring someone on
to demystify
it. And it's also a triple threat. Here we go. Todd Buonopane.
Double vaxxed and triple
Hi,
threat.
fellas. Seth, a year and a half, I kept thinking, when is Seth going to ask me to be on Stars in the House? And it just took me getting COVID for you to ask me to be on Stars in the House.
It did. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate you doing that for me. What? So here's the dealio. Todd did not get it from big crowd setting. He got it from kind of what we're all fearful about. You got it in just from a couple of people, right? A small setting.
Yeah. I was working out of town. I was performing my show that I have created, and I had heard about a bunch of cases happening. And so I went and I was getting a PCR test every day, but those took 24 hours. And so I went and got the rapid tests at the store, and I was passing 2 a day. Wow. Because I didn't think it would be fair to be singing in front of a room of people if I thought I was shedding any virus. So this was my second week of shows. I had 3 shows that week. And the day of my 3rd show, tested negative in the morning. And then at 6 p.m. did one more test, and it came up positive, and I immediately canceled my show.
Well, hold on 1 second. It wasn't like you started to feel sick and you tested positive. If you hadn't tested, would you have known that you had it?
Well, here's the complicated thing for me. I got that weird cold that every gay got off after Pride. And I was outside for all of Pride. I didn't go inside anywhere in Pride. But everyone ended up with the same cough. And I went straight to the doctor and I was like, what is this? What do I have? And it wasn't COVID. Wow. But my cough kind of lingered. So it's hard for me to know exactly when my COVID symptoms started. But a lot of people I know that got these breakthrough cases felt sick before they tested positive.
That's good.
Except that they got a negative test when they had some symptoms and got a negative test.
Wow.
So I'm now telling people, my friend was just texting me and he said, I'm supposed to help a person tape an audition. I was going to go to her house, but I heard her coughing on the phone and said, can we just do this over Zoom? And I said, that's the right thing. I think right now you don't want to make anybody feel bad about themselves, but to just say, hey, if you're coughing, I'm going to choose not to be around you right now.
Did you confirm the rapid test with some other test?
Well, I had also taken a PCR that day, and so that came back the next day, and that was positive.
First of all, I want to commend you for canceling the show. And did you give a reason? Not that you needed to, but did you just say it's canceled for medical reasons?
I texted I texted the venue and I said, I just got a positive COVID test. We have to cancel. And they didn't give me any grief about it.
Good for you.
And then they just put for medical reasons, for sickness
one
or
of
something.
the things that we need to do is get rid of the stigma. Like it's, oh my God,
right.
I'm positive. I'm so embarrassed. It's a no embarrassment zone. This virus is crazy infectious.
No one was more careful than me. I mean, my friends thought I was crazy for like the past year and a half. And then suddenly the world opened up and I got a chance to do my show. And I was like, maybe this is the right thing to do. And I still don't know if it was the right thing to do.
Do you have a sense of where you got it? Like, were you next to somebody who eventually turned positive?
I hung out inside with two people who came down with it.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Before you? Did they know before you or after you?
Yes, they knew before me.
Before you, I see.
Like the day before.
Yeah.
And then and you were without masks and you were indoors with them.
Yeah. But since we've been vaccinated, I have been like going to a friend's house and hanging out with like 3 people inside.
But everyone's vaccinated.
It didn't seem like a dangerous thing to do.
The 2 of them were vaccinated. The 2 of them had been vaccinated.
Yeah, and I even asked before I went over, I said, do either of you have the sniffles? Just because my show is hard to sing and I don't want to get anything in the way of singing. I wasn't even thinking COVID. I was just thinking, don't give me your cold.
Wow, you're really
concerned. What part of the world was this?
What part of the world was
part of America?
We're in the Northeast.
In the Northeast, so it was not in a red area. It was, if you look at COVID data tracker, there's everything's red and there's orange and then there's the Northeast looks pretty good.
Yeah, it was not in a state where vaccinations are low.
Wow.
And Toddy, everyone's saying, well, don't worry, if you get it when you have a vaccine, you've been vaccinated, it's going to be mild. And I'm setting you up talk show style, but I know for a fact it wasn't mild. So can you talk about it?
Yeah, I didn't have what I like to call the pretty Gavin Creel COVID, where he can go on a Sondheim special and sound better than ever. Not fair. But totally. I had to drive 6 hours to get home because I wasn't in New York State, and there were no, outside of New York City, these like COVID hotels that you can isolate in don't exist. So we're lucky to live in New York City. But I had to drive 6 hours the next day, and I was out of my mind. I felt crazy. And then the day after that, it was 85 degrees out. I had no air conditioning on, and I had my winter coat on because my chills were that bad.
Wow.
And I wasn't sleeping because my cough was so bad.
Really? No. I mean, when we talked to Todd, he said, I've not slept in 3 days. I mean, literally not like I couldn't sleep. Like you really couldn't sleep.
I could not. I actually dreaded the night because I just knew I would be laying there and eventually I would just turn Murder, She Wrote back on because why try to sleep?
Did you have a pulse oximeter to see what your SaO2 was? What was it?
I never dropped below 95.
All right. So that's a good thing. But, we should let people know that if you do get sick, with or without being vaccinated, you should be evaluated. If you're feeling sick, be evaluated for monoclonal antibodies. They're underused right now. There are a lot of places that have them. Check with your clinician about whether you're a candidate. I know there are different rules. Some people say you have to be high risk. There's all these different things, as there is with all of this. Everybody's calling it audible. There are guidelines, and then on the local level, people are calling audibles. But just don't forget that. Don't forget that monoclonal antibodies probably saved President Trump's life when he was so sick.
And don't wait for it to get bad. If you are having symptoms, get the monoclonal antibodies, because a lot of the people that are giving them out in New York, a lot of the hospitals, they have to be within like 5 days of your symptoms or of your positive test. Oh, wow. So don't wait for it to get bad. Just say, you know what? I have a fever. I have the chills. You Google that stuff and you'll be able to find it. Just don't wait.
I should do a code of what I just said about the monoclonal antibodies and the president. Yeah. We don't know because he got so many things. He got steroids, he got remdesivir, he got monoclonal antibodies. Right. So who knows what it was? He had the best care on the planet, but it didn't hurt, and it probably helped.
Todd, let me ask you, because you suspect that you got it from your friends who were vaccinated. How many days? Because we've talked about that a lot on this show, of the days. So what was if that is when you were exposed?
Yeah,
it was exactly 5 days. I hung out with them on Friday night, and I tested positive on Tuesday.
Wow. So you were negative. Wow.
Here's something for people to know. In this Chinese study, where they found 1,000 times more virus in the nose of people with Delta than the original Wuhan strain. Sorry, it peaked at 3.5 days, 4 days instead of 5 days. So this Delta, don't be surprised if it gets you a little earlier in terms of symptoms.
And I don't want to bring anybody down, but does that mean that Todd was inadvertently spreading it for those 5 days without knowing that he had it? Although if you're testing negative, we don't really know. Right?
No, if he was testing negative, he was not spreading it.
Okay, that's.
I mean, what a beautiful thing that you did. You only had the ability to spread it between the morning negative and the evening positive. Isn't that the perfect thing? When you talk about homeschooling, I really firmly believe we got to do more testing, and they got to be $3, not $30, not $50.
Yeah, exactly.
Do it at home. Do them on Monday and Thursday or whatever it's going to be, twice a week. But get everybody used to it. You're positive, you stay home, and then if you have sniffles, you stay home.
Todd, when did you start to see light at the end of the tunnel for you?
Starlight Express style.
I guess, what's today? Today's Thursday? God, I haven't been out of the house in so long. I don't know what day it is. Probably about 3 days ago. And I had always heard that your healing isn't linear, that you'll start to feel better. And I had like a great night of sleep. And I started to feel better, and then the next night I couldn't sleep. So you'll start to feel better, and then it'll get a little worse. But this is what I keep saying. The vaccine did its job on me. Do I wish I hadn't gotten this? Yes. But it never got to my lungs. And that's
you never had a cough. You never had a real. You said you had a lingering cough, but no.
Yeah, I had
of the cough.
I had a cough of like what was dripping in my throat, but I never had a chest cough.
And I love your point. It shows that these vaccines are doing their job, and still, the vast majority. I mean, the statistics are going to change because everything's changing. But the last statistics that were quoted were 99.5% of all deaths were in people who were unvaccinated. It did do its job. You first started getting you're better as of 3 days ago, and you started getting sick how many days ago?
I started getting sick
8 days ago, right?
10 days ago, actually.
Okay.
Tomorrow is my 10th day.
About right.
Yeah.
So about a week of symptoms. Okay.
So it's a week of bad symptoms.
I'm so glad you're feeling better, Todd. Seriously, I mean, and you've got it, and you're a walking advertisement for the vaccine. Instead of again, I talk about turning a screw 1/4 inch in people's heads. You're not a walking advertisement for the fact that the vaccine didn't work. You're an advertisement for the fact that it worked.
Yeah,
and may have saved your life.
It might have saved your life if you got that sick having had the vaccine.
Yeah. My mom, who is a bit of a new conservative, which I have trouble with, but got the vaccine immediately, even says, I don't understand why they're giving prizes for the vaccine. Isn't the prize that you don't die of COVID?
Right.
And I'm like, bravo, Mom.
Yeah. Well, Todd, thanks so much.
Hold on, before you go, I want to talk for 2 seconds. So, just about your creativity, because everyone's done their own thing over this pandemic. What inspired you to do the Bathtub Theater? How did that begin?
I was on tour with The Play That Goes Wrong when the pandemic hit, and they sent us home, and I got home and sat on the couch and was like, I'm going to get really depressed. And so I decided to instead sit in my tub and start giving nightly performances on the internet. And they started with like silly monologues from Lost in Yonkers or Steel Magnolias. And then they just got more musical and more technical. And, till I'm like doing Rose's turn and I'm pulling ropes and Rose appears behind me on the wall. And like, I'm just like going for it in my tub. And it really kept me sane. It very much kept me sane. And now I've transferred that into the show that I was doing out of town. I'll do it 54 Below. And yeah.
And why,
I love it. I'm proud of it.
Why Hello Dolly? Is that a role you always wanted to play?
Why Hello? I mean, I only sang lady songs in my tub. My friend said, "Why are you?" Because my show is called All Washed Up, and he's like, "You should just call it lady songs," which I actually think is funny. But when I get hired in the real world, they want me to sing Shapoopy. They want me to sing Sound You Rock in the Boat, and I love doing those things. But I was alone in my apartment, and I got to sing whatever I wanted.
There you go.
So I wanted to be Dolly Levi, and I wanted to be every character in Follies, every female in Follies. These are the things that like we homosexuals secretly, like when we're alone and we're in our shower, this is what we sing.
I think this is.
I'm not Billy Bigelow in my shower.
No, you're this.
Oh dear, oh my, will you look at that? 10 o'clock and the shop not open yet. It's all because of the impending marriage, I tell you. What marriage? I thought you knew. Why, the marriage Mrs. Levi is arranging between Mr. Horace Vandegelder, the well-known Yonkers half-a-millionaire, and my employer and friend, Mrs. Irene Molloy. Although, if you ask me, he'll never take the place of her late husband, Mr. Peter Molloy. May he rest in peace wherever he is. I don't know. He was a caution, you know. Oh, it's all too much. What with late husbands and new marriages, and on top of everything else, Miss Mortimer returning this hat for the 3rd time. Same old story. She wants more cherries and feathers. Cherries and feathers. To catch a beau, I suppose. Although, if you ask me, she'd do better with a nice heavy veil. I told her, ribbons down our back is what we'll be wearing this summer if we want to catch a gentleman's eye. But she'd have none of it. Cherries and feathers she wants, on today of all days. What, when that poor dear sweet Mrs. Molloy has enough on her mind, what with...
With what, Minnie?
With the door, it's stuck.
It's stuck?
Uh-huh.
Then push.
Hats. Thank you.
Oh my God. Also, it was you could literally see me gain 15 pounds, lose 15 pounds, gain 15 pounds, lose 15. Did I grow? I didn't get to have a beard on tour, and so I slowly grew that back. Oh Lord.
It's so creative. Looking up, and I
That
agree
was
with Joey.
great.
Isn't it great? What Joey says, this is art. All right, thank you, Toddy. Feel better. We're so glad you're healthy.
Thank you, Dr. LaPook. We will see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Dr. LaPook.
See you tomorrow. Good night.
Thanks. Thank you, Todd, for coming on.
Thank you, Toddy.
Of course.
All right. And now,
ex-wives.
David, hit it.
First, going to bring on the creators.
Oh, okay, great.
I want to talk to them about how this musical happened. Let me see if I see them. Okay.
Are they on there?
Toby, device not connected. Get it together. I'm looking at
maybe-
you. And where's Luce? Oh, maybe Luce. Wait, let me just describe it. So,
There's Toby.
I know. And it began in Edinburgh, UK, Chicago, everywhere, Broadway. There's a whole story. So let me first bring on the two creators.
Yay.
We were talking about Tobes and Luce.
Hi, Toby. Hi, Lucy.
Hi, guys.
Nice to see you guys.
We have not seen you. We've not seen you, right?
I know it feels like it does feel like yesterday that when you came and we were staying in London, me and Seth, and Six was playing at the Arts Theater, and our hotel was like 3 blocks away. And I had gone out, and then the next thing I know, I came in the room, and both of you were sitting on the couch with Seth, and he was interviewing you for his show. And I was like, "Oh, who are these people?"
And I knew there was a lot of promise to the show. Little did I know how much. Actually, I didn't know
Children in my hotel room.
Probably. So your story is so fascinating, and I know you told my radio audience, but you haven't told this audience.
Such a great story.
So I know you two clowns were at like Oxford or somewhere. Where were you? Some fancy place. Where were you?
Cambridge.
Same thing. So you were there, and they always would like take a musical to Edinburgh, right? And Toby, you were like, "I want to write my own." So talk about how it got created.
So there was this musical theatre society at uni, and for the first time they wanted to take an original musical to the Fringe because they got like bleeding money taking original existing musicals because of the rights and everything. And there were loads of people that were key in that year, so they were like, let's do it. And then I applied with like a couple of like ideas, or basically being like, oh, I think it should be this like pop thing, and I think it should have a famous subject matter, and I think it should be all women and non-binary people because we had really talented friends at uni that wanted to like showcase. And then that all like led into like the idea of doing a musical about like the 6 wives. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do this with Lucy. And so I gave her a call and I was like, so I've got this idea where it's like the 6 wives, but they're a pop group. What do you think? And she was like, yeah.
I was like, that sounds like it could be so bad. So if we do it, we have to make it not bad. So I remember being like, yeah, okay. And then being like, oh God, I can just see all the ways that could be completely terrible. So yeah, that was our criteria. We were like, okay, I've got to write a show and it just can't be completely crap. It's like, am I allowed to swear? Oh my God, I don't know.
Crap is swearing.
Hey, Lucy.
So Tobes, for the show, Toby, I know you wrote the music. Did you also write the lyrics? Did you co-write lyrics? What's the deal?
We kind of like do the whole thing together. The whole thing's like us in a room. I'm like at the keyboard, Lucy's at a laptop, and then we just kind of like just bash the songs out somehow. It's different every time. I don't really know, but
yeah. Same with the like book and the script and stuff. It's like all of us together. It's not like me sitting away writing it and Toby just playing the piano.
Yeah.
And is that, because we're from the States, like divorced, beheaded, died, that's like a signature rhyming scheme in London that people say?
It's like what you learn when you're like 10 at school. Like everyone knows divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived. It's like this like thing that like everyone remembers about Henry VIII had 6 wives. So yeah.
Okay, so I think I have this clip right here. This is the recent video you did with kind of all the queens around the world, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it came out today.
Think that I hope this is what this is, or else it's just clips from 6. But let's just watch for the people that are like, what is it? It's the 6 wives of Henry VIII. Uni means university, by the way. We can't talk about slang. We're in the States, people. And here is something from 6. I think this is it.
The show to the history mix, switching up the flow as we add the prefix. Everybody knows that we used to be 6 wives. Get your hands up, get this party buzzing. You want a queen bee? Well, there's half a dozen. Everybody knows that we used to be 6 wives.
Ex-wives.
Oh yeah, the riff.
The classic riff.
No, by the way, I haven't seen it on Broadway. Do they do that? Ex-wife. Do they do the crazy riff?
No, that only exists on the album.
That was like a joke that we did for the album. And it was like not even supposed to be in it. We were like, oh my God, Renee, do it as a joke. And then now it's like the thing.
The best thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Anyway, the point is, you did it in Edinburgh at the Fringe Festival with your friends, and then some producers were like, hey, we should try this in London. And then suddenly it became like a real production. And then you went through the horrible thing of like, we have to now audition our friends to be in the show that we wrote, including like someone related to you, like one of your sisters was in it, right? Some horrible, like tense thing. Am I right?
Yeah, Toby's sister was Catherine Howard.
It's hard when you're in the big time. And then it moved to the Arts, which is a small theater. And it was going to be what, a limited run?
Yeah, it did like a workshop of like 4 Monday nights, but they were just like trying it out, seeing what was going to happen. And then and then we had to add some more shows and stuff because it got kind of hype. And then we did a tour in the UK, went back to Edinburgh, went to Chicago, Broadway. Now here we are.
British. Broadway, everything is sort of nonplussed. Okay, go on.
You remember what happened the night that Seth and I went in London?
Oh my God, that was actually horrendous.
Was that when like the sound effect happened? Or
no,
like,
it wasn't.
Like
it wasn't.
switch?
There was a show stop and it stopped. It was
during Holbein.
Yes,
yeah.
Jamie backstage, but he was fine. But he like
oh my gosh,
yeah. There was a whole disaster backstage with the electrics.
Someone got like mini electrocuted, but like not like dead, but like they got injured.
He was injured, but he's okay. Bless him, Jamie. Shout out to Jamie.
Yeah.
But it was so crazy. So we saw like 1.5 numbers, and then it was like, ladies and gentlemen, we're taking an interval. And
we waited, and we waited, and we had to get up early the next morning. And
I had a show.
You had a show that night. Oh, that's right.
I had a show at Leicester Square.
Right.
So,
that's right.
So I assumed that by the end of the show, someone got divorced, someone got beheaded, someone died.
Almost backstage. It was yeah.
God.
In the lobby. Toby, you were dressed more elaborately, like in a full gown. Okay, so we're gonna bring out some of the queens, and then we're gonna bring you guys back because I have to talk to you guys privately. But let me first bring out some of the queens that we have. So we can only have 6 on the screen.
That's the unfortunate.
So that's why we have to go. But just don't go anywhere for real. So first, let me bring Just gonna go who I see. So I see, wow, that is some cool hair. There's Samantha. Yeah, you got it going on hair-wise. Then we have Adrianna. Hi. Then we have Britt. Hey, Britt.
Hey.
We're gonna do the 2 A's, I guess. We have Andrea and Abby. Hi, ladies.
Well, we can get rid of
Well, actually, we'll get rid of ourselves.
We'll get rid of ourselves for a minute,
just so you can see
so
all the queens.
6 can be on, and you can actually. You know what? Before we go, I mean, why don't you
go around and say who you play?
Say who you are, who you play, and then if you want to talk about what was going to happen on March 12th, then feel free. But then we'll come back.
Well, no, I mean, what he means is, can you describe? What we always keep asking people is, how much of an inkling did you have about what was going to happen? Because it was, people watching don't know, it wasn't like certain shows open, got great reviews, were running. Certain shows were in rehearsal. It was literally the opening night of 6 when Broadway shut down. And opening nights are not at 8 p.m. Opening nights are early. So it was like a minute before the curtain went up. So why don't you queens all talk about it? We're going to peace out.
Well, okay.
Okay, wait. But before you start clucking, just so you know, if anyone speaks to the same, it's so rude. If anyone, it gotta laugh from Anna. If anyone speaks at the same time on this platform, all the sound stops. So like everyone has to speak one at a time, or else it just sounds like literally silence.
Or as Seth always says, maybe take a breath
and be like,
our point.
Yeah, but when someone else is talking, just nod politely with lips clamped shut.
Okay, so now we'll leave.
So now we're gonna leave.
Go on and talk about
and.
Hey y'all.
Hello. I love you guys. I'm Adrianna Hicks. I play Catherine of Aragon.
I'm Andrea Macasaet. I play Anne Boleyn.
I'm Abby Mueller. I play Jane Seymour.
I'm Britt Mack. I play Anne of Cleves.
I'm Sam Pauly. I play Catherine Howard.
And I'm Anna Uzele, and I play Catherine Parr.
I guess so. I don't know if you guys agree, but I guess for me, I think we all kind of assumed that even after like the article came out that was like Broadway is going to shut down, it's happening, it's official. I think all of us were still kind of like, well, surely we'll still open tonight and there will be a party. Like they booked Tao, we have to have the party. I was at home ready to shower and ready to go to the theater still at like 4 o'clock. And we were all texting each other like, so should I cry in the shower? Should I just start drinking in the shower? Should I even take a shower? Like,
yeah. I had like all my family members were there, and I have to say it was good to have all of my loved ones around me at that time. I know that the girls kind of feel the same way, because it was shocking and kind of surreal. And I just remember thinking to myself, oh, like this is a moment in history right now. This has never happened before. Okay, take your time. And within an hour, I was sending my mom and my brother home on a flight, and we had gotten groceries already. So it was an interesting night. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was at the theater already because I was there to like put gifts on the stations and, do all that setup. And I remember coming in, y'all, and the way Bonnie, our stage manager, beelined straight past me and was like, I don't know anything. I don't know, Brittany. It's good to see you, honey. Okay. Because she's delivering flowers and gifts to everyone's station. And so getting the news at the theater while I was already there with like no one in the audience and stuff, it was one of those things I was like, yep, I'm going to swallow this and deal with this later. And then I was like, I'm going to take a picture of everyone's station just because like, it's still our night, and everyone's station was so pretty. It was like, come to my garden. It was so gorgeous. Like I have to document all the flowers and the plants and everything and the gifts. And it was just, it was something. It really was.
Yeah. I agree. That was like, I think the moment when it actually hit me, because the night of, we realized that it's canceled. It didn't hit me. My family was in there. We went out and got Indian food. It was great. But then it was like a couple days later going to the theater and like looking at my station and seeing just like the outpouring of love from like directors to choreographers to cast members to friends to fans to everything, just like a explosion on the table. And I was like, oh my gosh, look at all, this is how much we are cherished. And I'm just so overwhelmed by all of this. And I'm so sad I wasn't able to partake in the opening night, but wow, thank you so much. It was honestly like very comforting to be able to like look at my station and see all of that, that was special for me.
Oh, I mean, all of it. I think I remember literally sending you guys a picture in the group chat, sitting in my underwear, being like, I'm by my shower. Now what? About the whole day, and then it was weird for me because I had this vision of what that weekend was going to be because my birthday was the next day. And then it ended up being, I still rang my birthday in, and it was cute and just super and I had people that I loved around me that whole day going into my birthday. So it was different, but it was everything that my heart kind of needed to take that whole day in and all the information that was given to us that day.
Yeah, and
Hold on, it's me asking more questions. Let me just ask one question. Did you guys have to, you had to clean everything out? Because people keep going back to their theaters to clean stuff out, and some people are leaving them there because they're like, the show's going to open any minute. So is your stuff all still in the theater?
Yes. Here and there a little bit. We are going to actually, I know I'm going to head back to the theater in a few days to actually clean out just a couple extra makeup things because summer's coming and you don't want things to go bad or go rotten or get rancid or anything like that. So, but for the most part, we're pretty cleaned out.
Well, I like the doggy. Now, by the way, speaking of summer's coming, I know someone here is singing a song about spring. We want the queens to sing stuff, not from the show, but their own sassafras. Britt, are you going to give us a little spring song? Because it's April, but it's freezing out.
I'm going to try to sing spring to us.
Okay.
And see if I can do that. I can do that now. Let's see. Oh, wait for it. It's been technical difficulty. Excuse me so much. I wouldn't be me if there wasn't something, right? The things I used to like, I don't like anymore. I want a lot of other things I've never had before. It's just like Mother says. I sit around and mope, pretending I am wonderful and knowing I'm a dope. I'm as restless as a willow in a windstorm. I'm as jumpy as a puppet on a string. Oh, why should I have spring fever when I know it isn't spring? I'm as starry-eyed and vague vaguely discontented, like a nightingale without a song to sing. Oh, why should I have spring fever when it isn't even spring? I keep wishing I were somewhere else, walking down a strange new street, hearing words that I have never heard from a man I've yet to meet. I'm as busy as a spider spinning daydreams. I'm as giddy as a baby on a swing. I haven't seen a crocus or a rosebud or a robin on the wing, but I feel so gay in a melancholy way that it might as well be spring. It might as well be spring.
Spring, spring, spring. Spring, 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 spring.
We saw the sun. We saw the sun. We saw the
Oh, yeah.
Hey, first of all, that was amazing. Second of all, I have an announcement to make, which I forgot to make. So listen, everyone out there watching, we're raising money for the Actors Fund. What y'all need to do is you donate at starsinthehouse.com. And then after you do, you're going to get something saying you donated. Email that to starsinthehouse2020@gmail.com. And then I'm going to send that list to one of the queens and they will read your name and or riff your name. 6 wives. What? So you have to email starsinthehouse2020@gmail.com and then they will read your name / riff your name. We'll see. I'll send it to Abby because I have her information. I'm going to bring on the two creators again. So queens, take a break, put on your throne. Oh, hold on. Oh God, okay, there we go. Okay, Baba on the spring. Man, I've yet to meet you. Will, girl. Okay, here we go. Okay, hold on. This is the platform is acting crazy. Hold on.
It may be you have to talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, give me. There we.
Give us a topic.
Okay, well, I made it work. I made it work. Okay. So, hi, girl. Okay, so I love the hair. Yes. Okay, so I'm bringing on the two clowns.
No one's gonna be able to read you.
Oh wait, that's not you. Sorry. There you are. This is so hard to get.
Hi.
And there's Tobes. All right. So what I loved when I first met you guys is that you were quoting one of the videos that I did with my pal Keala. I love you because I want to show a little clip of it. What
Yes.
What was the video and why did you guys like it?
The one of you guys like re-going through all of Keala's like auditions for the ingenue roles in Les Mis and how she like puts her own spin on it and doesn't get a call back. And it's just the ending. Wait, Toby, you can do it better than me.
Is it like, now life has killed the dream I dreamt?
And the microphone broke. Basically, if you don't know, it was based on Keala playing Madame Thénardier. And when she would go, God knows how I've lasted living with this bastard in the house. She would go, God knows how I've lasted living with this bastard in the house. Up the octave. So we decided that every audition she goes in for, she always goes up to the octave and she can't understand why she's not cast. So we had to recreate. I said, please recreate your various auditions for Les Mis. And it ended with her recreating Eponine with Ramin. And she was raging that she not only didn't get the Broadway show, but she didn't even get like a non-equity tour. So this is supposedly her audition. For everyone who doesn't know it, this is on YouTube. Here we go.
Oh, gosh.
And rain will make the flowers grow.
And what? out. And did you get bus and truck at least?
Nothing.
Okay, well, that's up. All right, see ya.
It's my favorite thing, like making the last like word like multiple syllables, like an extra syllable of just like expression. This is my favorite thing.
Wait, so you're such a fan of Keala? Have you ever even met her? She comes to one of your shows or anything?
No, but I think when we did
sent her a
music,
video.
yeah, we sent her a video with you of us doing that.
Oh my God, you have to meet her one day. It'd be so cool if she
We
were
never
like
had
actually here right now. Wouldn't that be cool?
Wait, why would you do this to me?
Hi.
Dibbles.
Huge fan of your work. Huge fan of your work. Oh God.
Wait, Keala, what?
Hold on, let me start again. Beheaded. Die!
Oh my God.
Am I not in your play?
Oh. Yeah, it's because it's closed everywhere.
Yeah, no one is.
No one's in it, don't worry.
Right now.
Yeah, Keala is interested in being one of the queens. Maybe the Hawaiian version back in your home state, Keala.
Why can't I just play anybody? All ethnicities are encouraged to attend. So they say.
Yes. So, Toby, any questions for Miss Keala before we go?
You guys, congratulations on all the success of this. I have heard about this for a few years now. When Anne Juliet was going around as well.
Oh my God! Well, Anne Juliet's our favorite.
I had an opportunity to do a reading of that in LA. A buddy of mine, Nicole Parker, and she played Mrs. Shakespeare. And it was one of the best experiences ever, especially because, and I'll tell a story real fast, so sorry, because this is supposed to be a drive-by and hi-bye. But
No, it's safe,
Max was in the reading, and I was playing the nurse, and you're supposed to sing the Ariana Grande song with the guy, the dad. And I'm looking at the words, and I'm going, this doesn't make sense, music director person. And he's like, just sing it, just sing it. He wrote it. He paid millions of bucks, just sing it. And so I was like, okay. And so we get to the reading, and, you know, for those of you who don't know, and Juliet, it's incredible. It's a story about if Juliet didn't die after Romeo died and she stayed alive. I can't wait for it to come to the US, please, because this is all going to be over soon, hopefully. So I got it. We started the reading, and it got to that part where I'm singing the duet with the guy who was incredible. The whole cast was amazing. And I get to that part, don't want to hear the mend of a broken heart. Don't want to hear now that I've become who I really are.
Yeah.
And I looked at Max and I was like, you know that doesn't rhyme, right? This is the part that I say I don't want you. I was like, this doesn't rhyme. But that's cool because you have a lot of money. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it was
you're going to be amazing in that role. Oh my God, I'm so excited to see that.
But
did you take it up the octave at the
I
end?
heard about your show when all of that was going on, and I was really, really excited about all the buzz and the story behind it. So congratulations, you guys, on everything. And I have faith that it will come back again tenfold.
Oh,
thank you so much. Oh my God.
Well, two things. First of all, we're having a spinning rainbow circle, meaning we can't actually get rid of you, Keala. So just hang on here for a while because we can't get rid of you.
That's terrible news. I have a house to get ready, baby.
No, you don't. And Toby and Lucy, what's happening with the film version? Certainly the film version is happening.
Oh,
Maybe.
you know, at some point, who knows? When we can think of a way to do it on screen, then we'll do it.
Yeah.
Have you thought of a bearded queen?
Can we move on from that? How about that?
Have you thought of a queen who's a waitress?
A queen at a truck with one hand.
All of your tracks.
Oh
my God.
gosh.
I told Keala, I was like, you'll be on for 1 minute. Turns out I literally can't get rid of you, Keala.
You know what? This may be it.
Oh, this is the weirdest thing. Wait, so Lucy
What if
and
I go off? What if I turn off?
all right. Well, but then it's just
we'll
gonna,
miss
then
you,
it'll just be
though.
these two clowns, and I don't want to talk to them. No, I do want to talk to
It's a
Lucy.
whole hour. Come
Wait,
on,
so-
man.
Listen, Toby, where were you when you found out, oh, by the way, this show's not going to happen?
Oh.
Wait, I was in a taxi about to get my hair done for the opening. But I was like listening to the radio, so I heard the announcement on the radio, like before it was on the internet and everything, and I was like, oh. And then I like got out of the taxi and got in another one, went home. Yeah, it was crazy.
I just bought a top at Zara. I'd like just paid for it. And then someone sent me an article being like, is this your show as well? And I was like, well, no, I can't return the top. But it's a really nice top and I wear it all the time. So, you know, silver linings. Really.
It's a good top. It's a nice top.
It's a really good top.
Wait, how are you guys doing health-wise? Are you guys okay and safe and everything?
Oh, yeah. My flatmate had it a couple of weeks ago. So I feel like and I didn't get any symptoms really. So I feel like I kind of like had it and didn't feel it. And now I'm immune. Or I didn't get it. Who knows? But
good.
Yeah, feeling good.
Yeah, we're all good.
Feeling happy. How about you?
I'm great. Weirdly enough, I think I had it in January.
Before it was cool.
When nobody was really
very trendy.
Yeah, because I've been traveling a lot, and by the time I got home in mid-December, and I got sick like in the beginning of January. So, I mean, if you look back on it and all the crap that I had to do, I had to take my dog to my neighbors and say, hey, can you have her for a week and a half? Because I can't go to the bathroom. I can't get up. And so I spent a lot of time in bed. I couldn't really walk around anywhere. I was doing a lot of ordering on Amazon for things because I couldn't, it was sort of a stressful situation. Just walked to the front door for about a week and a half. So I don't know if I had it or not. It just was it was like a really awful pneumonia.
Oh, I hope you did though. It would be so great if you had it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to be fair, because then I would have an antibody, but I don't know. And I'd be interested to see if they ever could, because, you know, when you cross the South Pacific from Asia, the first hotspot that people hit is Los Angeles International Airport. And I've personally gone back and read information about, you know, they're talking about this influenza A that they couldn't really describe that was actually doubling the deaths of people just in the beginning of January here in the state of California, in the Southern California area. So, I mean, I don't know, because we're so still right on the game, kind of going, we need to find this out and this out and this out with what we have right now. God knows when they'll even able to be going backwards and doing all that research and going, did we really have it in January? You know?
Or December even.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Lucy and Toby, you know, you're so British. When I was interviewing you, it was a lot of like, yes, you know, we wrote a try for the English show and we think it's fine. And it was very like low. I was like, it's gonna be on Broadway. Like, maybe one day we'll see a Broadway show. So my point is like, what was it like to actually be at the first preview and you're like, wait, we actually are on Broadway? Were you allowed to be excited or were you too British to even take it in?
Well, it's funny because Lucy, because you were like directing it. And so even though it was like super exciting and amazing, you're still there with like the notebook being like, okay, that thing, and then having the meeting after, it's like, what do we need to do for the next one? You know, it's like, it's funny because like, I kind of feel like the whole time we were there, it was all like real, like ambiently exciting. But at the same time, we were there like rehearsing every day and then teching every day and then doing the previews. And you're kind of like going through the motions of like, you get into like a pattern of like working on it. Do you know what I mean? And then like, I kind of get it like opening night would have been the time to be like, oh my God, now it's like actually open on Broadway. So we're going to have
Although
that.
I
What do you think?
I had the thing of like, when we were doing our like pre-Broadway rehearsals at New 42nd Street like studios, and it was like where all the like fancy people, and we kept getting told off by next door for being too loud because we were like, I'd like run into the corridor screaming, and then they'd be like, what are you doing? So that was a real moment. And then also when I got to the point when I was like, oh, I just want to sit on the stairs at the back and watch it, and then like watching the audience watch it, like and the kind of like 4th week of previews, that was when I was kind of like had the moments of being like, okay, cool, like this is happening, and it's like So I feel like we had like a month of like really enjoying it being on Broadway. So I didn't feel too like, oh my God, if it had been like just for the first preview or whatever, that would have been heartbreaking. But we had that kind of month of like audiences. So
that happened with Mrs. Doubtfire. They only had 3 previews, and then
we saw the first one.
We saw it. It's so good.
I fancy Mrs. Doubtfire so much.
Talk privately about that.
Well, I think we have the strangest thing that's happened on the show. And Keala, I feel like you probably know all of them. And I don't think I think this might be it. Because
hold on, Gabe. Well, Keala, why don't you give it to yourself and let's see if that helps.
But I don't know if it will.
I'm off.
All right, so Keala, you'll be back. This is Keala's like 5th appearance.
Bye,
Keala.
So nice to meet you. Bye. Thank you for singing Divorce the Head Has Died.
Please stay safe and healthy.
You too.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
I don't know, Seth.
Well, I guess I still want to chat with them.
You chat with them, and then
Let me ask you another thing. So what I think a lot of people watching don't know, at least especially in London, is that the critics come before opening night. Opening night used to be the night that all the critics came and everything was reviewed that night. So what's weird for you guys is that all the reviews, we're back, by the way.
No, that's all it took.
All the reviews are actually, so Queens, you're going to come back in a minute. All the reviews were actually written. They just weren't released because opening night. So
Yeah, they exist somewhere.
They're somewhere out there.
is that, you haven't done any investigative work to try to find out?
Oh my God, no. Like, I feel like that's only a thing you can kind of like deal with when you have like the adrenaline of actually opening, you know?
And like lots of alcohol, lots of fancy alcohol.
Well, in a way, I guess, whenever you do have your official opening, it's almost like, who cares whatever the critics say, because it was so long ago at that point. You know what I mean? You can just have fun.
Yeah, but it's completely different by now, actually.
Yeah, we'll just be happy that like theater exists again.
Yeah. It's actually going to be called Seven. You're going to expand the show. All right, so
Keala.
exactly with Keala.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to bring back your queens because we have even one more performance. Queens, you were so patient. Tobes and Lee's, so peace out for a second because I'm going to bring you back, say goodbye at the end. Liz. And then here we go. So I'm going to try to bring them all back. So I've got Abby and Anna. No, wait.
Hi.
Hold on. Who is singing?
Well,
I think
see.
Anna is singing.
On. All right, yeah, the platform's acting up. Too many people. That's what happens.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, guys.
Crazy.
Samantha's the one that's singing.
All right, well, Samantha's on.
Okay, Samantha's on ready. So we can have one more. So I'm just going to ask you guys. Samantha, I'll bring you on in a second. So just quickly, can you just tell me what your favorite part in the show is to sing, and just give me like a measure of it? You know, mine is of course Ex-Wives, which no one even does anymore. But that's my favorite part to sing when I go on. So Andrea, what's yours?
I think my favorite moment that I will never get tired of singing with the girls is the slow 4 minutes. Just that harmony is so juicy every single time we sing it together.
And I want to give a shout out. You know, when pop stars do these kind of concerts, it's fully auto-tuned and it's like 50% pre-recorded. Like these ladies are like live, not auto-tuned. They're just called amazing musicians, just FYI. Adrianna or Adrianna?
Adrianna.
What's your favorite part in the show, sing-wise?
I love when we get to the Mega Six, when we kind of do like a wrap up of everything, every song in the show. And at the very end, we go, we don't need your love, because we're so much more than, like that part takes me out because first of all, we're almost done. So like we're like one more step and then we're done with the show. But it's just some hard work that's like expressed in that moment. That's great. It's great.
Yes, Queens. Samantha, what's yours?
I think my favorite part is also like my favorite part is always the top of the show, right when everything opens. So like because the lights get really bright and we can see most of the audience, so it's fun to see all of their faces just like. But my favorite part to sing is the first live that we sing because that chord splits. Always my favorite. Always my favorite.
That's my favorite now. Anna, what about you?
I really like this one part in Ex-Wives when we're singing the word wives and we build, and then we cut it off really quick and go, and it's like this little poppy riff and no one's expecting it. It's honestly one of the hardest parts in Ex-Wives to actually nail, but when we do, it's very juicy.
It's a stupido piano for you classical people out there.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. I knew Abby would appreciate it. Ab, what about you, dear?
Yeah, I think it's those like crunchy harmony moments, right? And I'm gonna piggyback what somebody said right after the then it goes like the big explosion, the big explosive first harmony. But then we like snap together and the welcome to the show to that first part and just like it just feels really cool and we're all in unison. And especially after splitting into the big harmony, like it feels like a really powerful moment. I like that part. I like a lot of parts.
I want to be in the show. Okay, so hold on. I need to get rid of somebody. So
Britt, well, we can go off.
Oh yeah, so I'm gonna go off for a minute, and then
Britt can
Britt, you better be thinking about something fierce.
I mean, I've been off camera the whole time, Seth. So, I mean, honestly, I think one of my favorite parts that we do is in Ex-Wives when we're just starting to introduce ourselves as queens, and we go divorced, beheaded, and it's because we are literally one voice at that moment, and we're just talking. But it is the sexiest thing. I'm just like, yeah, oh, it's gooey and just it's fabulous.
Oh, I miss you guys
so much.
Wait, I was saying I miss you guys too, and I haven't even worked with you. Okay, so we're gonna do. So Samantha, you're gonna close us out with a song. Am I correct in my assumption?
Yes.
So are your arms prepared to go all the way to the side of your head?
I think they are, and I also like put on a white top just to like get into character, you know.
And your hair kind of looks like the Casa Rosada because it has like a pinkness to it.
Oh God, thank you. I didn't when I went over to London. I had to take the pink out of my hair, but I got to wear it like this every day. Just down and free flowing for the show. It was great.
Yes, queen, literally.
Wow.
All right, well, hit it. We're gonna hear what happens.
We'll go out and we'll bring Britt back.
Okay, fab. Okay, oh God. It won't be easy. You'll think it's strange when I try to explain how I feel. That I still need your love after all that I've done. You won't believe me. All you will see is a girl you once knew. Although she's dressed up to the nines, at 6s and 7s with you. I had to let it happen. I had to change. Couldn't stay all my life down at heel. Looking out of the window, saying out of the sun. So I chose freedom, running around, trying everything new, but nothing impressed me at all. I never expected it to. Don't cry for me, Argentina. The truth is I never left you. All through my wild days, my mad existence, I kept my promise. Don't keep your distance. And as for fortune and as for fame, I never invited them in. Though it seemed to the world they were all I desired. They are illusions, they are not the solutions they promised to be. The answer was here all the time. I love you and hope you love me. Don't cry for me, Argentina. If you have your handkerchiefs, feel free to wave them. Don't cry for me, Argentina. The truth is I never left you. All through my wild days, my mad existence, I kept my promise. Don't keep your distance. Have I said too much? There's nothing more I can think of to say to you. But all you have to do is to look at me to know that every word is true. Don't cry for me, Argentina.
Yes, Sam!
Sing it.
You better sing that song.
Cry,
Cry.
Argentina.
So
I
good.
miss y'all. Oh.
So good.
Oh.
Good, Myers. Good job, Samantha.
Sorry. A, that was amazing. B, Abby, you're on a text chain with everybody, right?
Yeah.
I just texted you some names. Can you text it to everybody and
There were
everyone?
so many great
Donations.
that just came in. So if you can put it on the text chain to all the queens, then maybe each one of you will take turns, like one at a time.
No, do 3 at a time.
Oh, 3 at a
So
time.
3
Okay,
names
good,
at a
good.
time. So you do 3, 3, 3, 3. And the last person, Samantha, you do 5 because there's like a little over 20.
Okay.
Now, when you read the names, I expect some kind of a riff or at least vibrato or at least good placement in the mask.
Yeah, because these donations are fair.
Did you get it, Abby?
Yeah, I got it. Did you guys get it?
Oh,
yeah.
All right, so we'll
All right,
go off.
we're going to go. So Abby can begin.
Abby, you'll lead it off, and then you'll pass it off.
Okay. 3, 3, 3. All right, ready? Andrea from Torrance, $25. Atlanta, Kirsten. Hey, well, Katie. Woo! Thank you.
Abby, how dare you?
It's incredible.
Abby, what?
Abby.
What?
Who's next?
So who's next after that? It's not
What did you do?
Okay.
Katie and Andrew. Okay, so then it's 3.
Start with Blake.
Yeah. Y'all know I'm old. Anna, go ahead.
All right. Blake Sherman from Massachusetts, $51. Emily Barker from South Carolina, $20. Kylie from Ohio, $51. Ooh.
Yes.
Really? Really?
Your turn.
Go ahead. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
You're doing Rebecca. That sounds like a lot for me, vocal in my.
Where's Andrea?
Yeah, Andrea.
Can somebody bring Andrea back?
No, where did she go?
I was just reading the live comments. I realized
I'll do Rebecca. I'll do that. Okay. Well,
all right.
Rebecca. $10 and had $25. I'm not getting it, y'all. Hold on. And Megan, $20.
Amen.
Well, next we got Natalie with $10. After that, we've got Allison from Texas. Yes, you're from down South Texas for that 15. Do I hear 15 from Allison? Yes, I do. And Bert.
Oh my God.
There you go. 3.
Amen.
Oh, it's me because I'm back.
Yeah, Andrea.
Where are we?
You're starting with Katie from Ohio.
Katie from Ohio for 10.
Oh, Katie from Ohio. $10. With $5 was no state listed. And then it's Elizabeth with $100. Ooh. Okay, not that in. I don't know where I was going.
But you didn't.
Take
But
us
you
home, Samantha.
Okay, we got Caitlin, $25 from Florida. Yeah. Then we have Stephanie from Utah.
Wait, Sam, can you do the last ones like Christina Aguilera?
Yeah. Yeah.
Love it.
The last three? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Diana's
Dumb.
From Minnesota, $50. And
Last one. You got it.
we got from New York.
Yes, God. That's great.
Okay, guys, just so you know, you were all, the medium note was D. I was testing.
He kept touching the piano, playing the notes.
And if you were on and F sharp, first of all, the Christina Aguilera gravel was hilarious. Everybody, and then the crazy high up the octaves, he's Andrea. I can't. You guys are amazing.
We can't wait to see you guys on Broadway.
Can't wait to see you guys on Broadway. I'm so sorry we couldn't fit more of you on screen. We had so many technical difficulties, but everyone is so nice, so supportive. Everyone keeps saying how great it is.
Yeah, we're afraid to touch any other part of the computer. So Abby, Lucy, Toby know that we love you, and we're so glad you can join us. We're so nervous to even end this. They're waving on the off stage. Oh, Toby,
it's sweet.
We miss you, Toby and Lucy.
Yes, guys.
All right, they're waving.
Bye, all you
all
queens.
Right. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
We'll see you tonight at 8 o'clock for Dallas.
Dallas reunion.
Yeah.